Hi, this is Meg from megalightheart.com. I want to talk to you today about formats of meetings. This book is really amazing. It exists as a book, as a website, and also an app. The book is The Surprising Power of Liberating Structures, and the authors looked at the way that we tend to meet inside organizations. They looked at there's the macro parts of business and then there's the doing, and in the middle everything is filtered through what they call microstructures. And generally the microstructures in which we meet are very unequal in terms of power. They talk about the big five, which is these are the ways, and you'll recognize all of these, that organizations tend to meet. They tend to meet with open discussion, managed discussion, status updates, brainstorming, or a presentation. And those five all have power imbalances in them and are not don't include all the voices that are in the room. So they came up with, by surveying the facilitation literature that was out there and using their own experience, they came up with 32 other ways of working. And today I want to offer you one which I use all the time and is really straightforward. And that's one of the things that they tried to do with liberating structures, was to come up with things that didn't rely on you being an experienced facilitator. You could just read about it and put it into practice, or experience it in someone else's meeting and then use it. This is 1, 2, 4, all. And the way it goes is one is individual reflection. 2 is you get in a pair with someone else and talk. 4 is those two pairs, that pair gets together with another pair and then they talk, and then all is bringing it back to everyone. And I use this all the time when I'm running meetings and facilitating sessions. And what it does is it allows that individual reflection, and sometimes it's good to do that as writing, allows people to enough time to process. And some people process slower than others. Some people aren't don't want to process out loud, or there are cultural restrictions inside the organization on talking out loud, that there's something you have to be very fluent and have your idea fully formed, otherwise it's going to be attacked. And sometimes you just need time, so giving people time to write something down and think on their own, and then turning to someone else to share it, means that you're not having to share things in front of the whole group, and you're able to just have an more intimate conversation with someone else. And that also means that you've practiced talking about it. You've also had some verification or response from someone else. You've heard someone else's views. And then when you go to pairs, 2 pairs together, then you're beginning to notice themes. And sometimes the question I ask is, when people go into the 4, I say, share what came up in your discussions and also what themes are you noticing. And then when I bring everything back, I go, so in your little group, what themes are you noticing in the discussion? And that seems to allow people to summarize and bring things out, and people tend to share the discussion. It brings some energy into the room. Because open discussion depends a lot on a certain type of person who feels able to speak up in a group, is able to think fast enough to keep up, and it tends to be dominated by there's power differences in terms of identity, where men tend to speak more than women, straight people tend to speak more than queer people, cis people speak more than trans people, white people speak more than people of colour. Like, we're trained, able non-disabled people speak more than disabled people, and so society has trained, the more that your identity is centred in society, the more you are trained to speak up, and the more you're marginalised, the more society has trained you to be quiet. And so also, if you want to be creating an environment that's really inclusive, allowing some time for personal reflection, for one-to-one and small group work is really important. Then full group work is really important. So it's a format that you can use whenever you want there, whenever there's been something significant happening that you want there to be a reflection, when you want to start a discussion, when you want to you've got to a point in the discussion where you think you could do with bringing everything together. Anytime you'll be asking an open question of the group, this can be really good. It's also a useful principle to bear in mind to go, when I'm planning my meeting, have I planned in some individual reflection time? Have I planned in some pairs or small group time for people to spend with each other? Have I planned something for the whole group? And the whole group is also, it's good to do something like a go around, check the video on Monday about check-ins and check-outs, that you're also making sure that you hear the voices of everyone. So try out 1, 2, 4 all as a format. If you go to liberatingstructures.com, there's a description there about how to do it in full. All the information's open source. And also, when you're planning a meeting, see if you can challenge the format to make sure you're including the principles of 1 and 2 and 4 and all. So in a smaller group you can do 1, 2 and all sometimes, if you're in a group of, let's say, 8 or fewer. So give that a go. I think it's important that we challenge the structures of meetings in order to make them more inclusive, because the more ideas and perspectives that are included, the more effective the stuff that comes out of it is. If you want some support in planning things like meetings and inclusion, then have a look at my coaching offers on megalightheart.com. If you have steady income and you like to support me in also having steady income, you can become a monthly patron at patreon.com/megalightheart. And wherever you're watching this, share this with people, click like, leave a comment or a question. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe so you hear about the videos when they come out. And I'll see you tomorrow when we're going to talk about types of decisions and how decisions are made in meetings. I'm Meg Lightheart from megalightheart.com, and I'll see you tomorrow.